Welcome back, everybody, to Paddling Pool 205. We have two teams here who I've just been discussing the pronunciations of with Spy and getting very confused because it's apparently one team's pronounced MERO, not MERO, but MERO. And the other team, I have been informed, is German for train station. Is that correct, Spy?
I mean, it's Subbahnhof. I mean, Bahnhof is train station, and Sub is like kind of the underground, so I would call them subway.
Right.
If that would make sense, but like, we could call them train station.
I mean, subway is catchier than calling them underground train station, so let's just go with subway and call it there. It's MERO.
What is it now? I'm so confused.
Pat, you're here, aren't you? Tom J, you know this team well. How do MERO? Okay, MERO. Okay,
MERO.
Because I can work with that. Okay.
Because you told us that it was the Japanese way of pronouncing it, but that would be MERO. And that's not Japanese. MERO would not be Japanese, and MERO is also not really Japanese. I am so confused, Chili.
So it's Subway versus MERO. We got there in the end. Let's go with that. So, just for context in terms of brackets as well. So MERO are undefeated at the moment. They're 2-0 up. Subbahnhof, is that how you pronounce that? They are 1-1, so they're fighting for their lives to stay in group stages at the moment and progress to single elim. So MERO looking like the favourites, but we'll see how people do. Fairly vanilla comps. We do have a 96 deco out on the board though, and we saw how powerful Kraken was in the last set. So let's see what happens there. Really good opening play by EB here on the machine.
Yeah, like I was just gonna say, that machine was really getting in and getting 2 picks, which was really a strong start. And we see like 3 specials in use right now. What the hell is this special usage? That was actually really cool. And yeah, MERO is just kind of pressured, and I mean the map is fairly small, but they still have some ways to go. What is the Kraken doing?
I mean, Kraken is a way to keep the towers safe. It feels a little premature in the sense that a lot of players on MERO are already down. So I think really good coordination from Subbahnhof, but also at the same time, just maybe a little bit early on using some of those specials on that initial push. I think they could have done with holding them off a little bit. I mean, 25 is an incredible initial push, so it is MERO that are going to be feeling the pressure to advance here, and we'll see if they can do so. But what an opening statement.
Yeah, I mean, that Kraken was kind of wasted because at first I think you don't need to jump, you can just charge. And yeah, it was just kind of off topic right there. But MERO is actually getting in right now. Wait, MERO, I don't know what this is.
MERO.
No, and they actually seem to get the checkpoint now, and the machine is actually flanking from behind. And the charge is actually on the left, and the Kraken is going in, which is always lovely, as we know it.
Yeah, I mean, EB's been incredible so far. EB on the slush machine for Subbahnhof has been has taken so many names already. Beautiful snipe coming in there. So it looks like MERO are going to be doing what they can to get a numbers advantage before they go back in here. That being said, is a struggle for MERO, despite how well they've done in the bracket so far. It feels like every time they get a pick, Subbahnhof are able to respond in equal kind of force, really.
Yeah, I mean, one person was just jumping out, and that just kind of leaves no one left to protect the tower, while Subway is getting ready to get in again. Well, they don't seem to have any specials. The Splash is actually putting on some good pressure, and they actually got 1 pick, and they're just kind of staying there while the machine is just kind of doing its thing. Not really with success, but that was just kind of the thing. And that E-leader flick, that was beautiful.
that was, yeah. I mean, that separates the mediocre eliters from the good eliters. Like, being able to be calm in that situation and get that flick snipe was absolutely huge, and has been a crucial factor in Subbahnhof not being able to progress that push further than they otherwise could have. I mean, obviously very scary because Subbahnhof have pushed through all checkpoints bar 1. So that is going to be very scary if they do get a safe push again. But there is only 2 minutes on the clock, so MERO are going to have to find an offensive opening soon if they want to get on the board here.
I mean, the E-leader actually just got a pick again, but actually got picked out too. And it actually seems kind of conflicted right now for Subway, because like that 96 Deco was the only one who's left, and it seems like MERO is getting ready for a really strong push right here, while Subway is just kind of forced into their base again, and we actually see some good special usage right there. And while that 96 was kind of getting ready for that flank, but actually decided not to in the end. And really, MERO is picking up quite the pace, and the 96 is going on the tower. I don't know if it's with success, but it actually seems like they got some good distraction going off, while that Junior uses that big bubbler to kind of protect itself and be sure to get that lead, which it actually does.
There are so many things to talk about with this push already. I mean, first of all, I love that they used the Booyah Bomb to cover so that they could then use the Ink Strike in a way that was a bit safer and a bit more jarring, but then really good use of the Kraken to really desperately stall out the tower, and it shows how well the Kraken can kind of stall the objective both in a defensive way and an offensive way, but just so well coordinated from MERO's part there once they got that opening, and with 30 seconds on the clock, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Subbahnhof to play more offensively than they're probably going to want to. And if MERO just kind of hold back now and try and stay alive, that being said, 2 of them have gone down. Yeah, it is quite a powerful statement, and it does show how MERO have managed to kind of be undefeated in the group stages so far.
Now that E-Leader actually went for a really early wave breaker, but it actually got some really good value because 2 people on the side of Subway are, you know, marked, and yeah, MERO actually got this. And Chili, I literally just realized Subbahnhof is like, you know, the situation with yes sir and yes sub, you know? This is
yeah, sort of.
Because I just realized that 2 players on the side of Subbahnhof have HBF. It's an acronym for Hauptbahnhof, which is like the main train station. So it's like Hauptbahnhof, and then like with the situation with yes sir and yes sub, Subbahnhof. That makes so much sense.
This is the kind of creativity that's lost on an ignorant Englishman like myself. You see, this is the problem. This is why I need to be bilingual if I'm going to be part of the wider EU Splatoon community, because I miss out on all these references. But yeah, I mean, that was quite a sudden turnaround, I thought, that game, but a really impressive push by MERO. I haven't really seen the Booyah Bomb used that much in a way where teammates kind of use it as cover to then follow up with another special or offensive play. I've mainly seen it used as defensively to deny space or to finish someone off that's injured, so I thought that was a really creative application there, and it showed that that wasn't just good kind of solo queue-esque use of specials, but that was a really coordinated and calculated team decision that resulted in them clutching that out. So very, very well played to MERO.
Yeah, also I just loved the Kraken. When it was just on the tower on its own, it was just jumping around. It was so funny. And I just kind of laugh at everything, so that's something that makes me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it always does look funny when the Kraken is just like flailing and flopping around for dear life, but it is a very good way to progress objective in tower control, and I think there's a discussion as well in Clan Blitz about how daft it is that the Kraken can just pick up a power clan, run to basket, and then serve as a jump point for teammates. So I wonder if we'll see that in action at some point today. Splat Zones on Brinewater, which is another map that I think people can have quite polarizing views on. I didn't like it originally because I thought it was a bit too easy to get locked out on the ramp, but actually when you play in like 2 synced coordinated teams, I do think it's really good fun. You just have to be very, very careful to not get wiped.
Yeah, I feel like that's just one of these maps that's just way too small for its own good, and I mean, it is still fun, and we actually have the ends up on MERO. That's cool. And a Neo Splash. I don't like that though.
Yeah, we've got a T-Tech V Neo Splash in action here, but yeah, ends up 89. We have there has been a JP tournament where double ends up 89 actually did take out double Splash-O-Matic, so there has been some early success with the ends up 89, but it's hard to tell. Is that because Super Chump is good, or is that just because people have been learning counterplay? Because actually Super Chumps are very easy to kind of destroy before they pop, but of course that in itself is a distraction taken away from the objective. Subbahnhof are going to get a very impressive initial cap of the zone, and they're trying to advance up the ramp, but that wave breaker is really making that challenging for them. That being said, the sloshing machine going in, and EB causing carnage again, but then getting punished as they tried to retreat.
that was kind of sad, but actually Subbahnhof is down to 44, which is already a really strong push. Even if they don't really get this big... Oh, no, never mind. They actually seem to get this big follow-up right now because that charger actually seems to be kind of focused on the one T-Tech right now, but the T-Tech is actually focused on the charger, and now it gets another pick, and there's only one person remaining on the side of MERO, like being the E-leader, and that's just really strong for them. Like, again, that sloshing machine absolutely popping off again. Yeah. Just kind of getting some really good picks and then just retreating again. And now, really, MERO has to get in. But, wow, that was a fast wipe.
I mean, that was carnage. That was absolute carnage. And I think I was thinking when MERO was struggling to get the recap is that Subbahnhof's comp was so paint heavy. The sloshing machine is the only weapon there that doesn't paint particularly well. The triple shooter comp. I know we've talked about shooter privilege a fair bit, but it's just so good for holding map once you've got in and you've secured it. And I thought the Elite on MERO's part was doing a good job of getting picks, but just not in a way where they could ever really reclaim the map enough. They were really trying to stop the zone, but I think that offensive firepower was just too much. And yeah, really impressive game on Subbahnhof's part.
And now we're gonna get into the pain. Rainmaker Mincemeat. Oh god. That is that.
Did they change this?
I think they added these two cars on a stick or something.
Cars on a stick?
I never play Mincemeat because I hate it so much. I hate Mincemeat on every map mode, but I still think that Hammerhead is the worst map in the game.
Chat, can you translate what Spy means by cars on a stick?
Yeah, like, you remember during the Tricolor on Mincemeat, there were, like, these cars on a stick? It's basically just a pole. Like that cover for against Chargers on the left.
Right, okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense than car on a stick, but yeah.
But it is a car on a stick. But they're actually not here, I think. No, I don't think they even changed Rainmaker. But did they?
I mean, Rainmaker, I think, was one of the better Mincemeat, shall we say. We're seeing super kind of standard meta on both sides now. We've got double T-Tech splash sloshing machine, and we've got double splash E-liter sloshing machine on MERO's part. So all weapons that we know what they do. We've seen them in action plenty of times. But the E-liter on MERO's part going to be particularly terrifying on a map like this.
Yeah, especially because Subbahnhof actually has a really aggressive comp, like with the two T-Techs and the splash. They really have to get in quite harshly, but that E-liter will be ready and will be ready to punish, especially with that Booyah Bomb by that sloshing machine right now, absolutely shreddering that crab tank. Yeah,
I feel like we've seen a lot of kind of crab tank bullying since the patch. There's just so many things that make it feel a bit more brittle. And Subbahnhof here actually have 3 down. So this is going to be a really good chance for them to push against MERO. And the Booyah Bomb coming out as a cover here to try and make it a bit safer to continue. But 2 down aside. So, 3 down actually. So Subbahnhof can actually progress past a checkpoint here. Quite significantly as well. Look how much paint there is.
Yeah, and that E-liter jumping out was kind of just giving them an incent on that they are really ready to push, because that E-liter was like kind of in the wrong situation and in the wrong position, and they really weren't able to do anything from the low point. But it actually seems like this push could end. But what? Oh my god, that sloshing machine absolutely went for that Rainmaker again and just got another 9 points off of that. Wow.
Let's mentally make a note of that from 22 to 13. We'll see if that actually matters at any point. But that was very sneaky from EB. That is the danger of when you're letting letting the Rainmaker reset. Is when someone is just sharking and can just sneak away with it like that. Someone getting crushed by the shield there. That's a sad. Oh no, burst bomb. Okay, I thought it's always a tragic way to go when you die to a Rainmaker shield. Crab dodging the triple link strike this time on MERO's part. They really need to get some map control back, because this is a very yellow space right now.
Yeah, and up until now, this has really been to the liking of Subbahnhof. Again, the T-Tech actually got 1 pick with that beautiful splat bomb. And we see the sloshing machine just kind of being at that ledge again, just kind of with like carbon, where it's really good at ledges and kind of pressuring and actually getting picks too. And I mean, the E-Leader actually went for that kind of early wave breaker again, which, while it didn't really give them that much value, it actually made space for them, so that's actually a huge value for them.
Yeah, that seems to be how they're using the wave breaker, that and to really help enable plays from the rest of the team, which is much more kind of offensively built. So I do understand that context for using them. But I mean, Subbahnhof have just done so well at not going down. The Eliters really struggled to get picks, and look at this, you've got all 4 of them up in sync, pushing extremely aggressively. Hesitating a little bit now, letting the Rainmaker create some space, but 3 down again. Are they going to go straight for the knockout? They are, with a wipeout. That is how you end a game. Blimey.
Now, that, I actually loved how they went through the choke points. I mean, that right side is really one of the worst choke points in this entire game. Like, honestly, what is this? And they just really got to coordinate it really well. I mean, that one sloshing machine was just, like, staying on the enemy plat and just kind of giving pressure to the other team. And the 2 T-Techs just went through that one choke point and got picks, while the Rainmaker was just kind of staying behind and also getting some pressure while, I mean, its shots are really powerful.
Beautiful. This is why I love Splatoon, love this community, love commentating, because it's such a wonderfully action-packed game, and things can happen in seconds. And yeah, that that was so fun to spectate. You know, of course. That was... Go on, Spy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was actually a really cool Mincemeat match. I expected it to be really choke point heavy and really not that fun to watch, because Mincemeat is like really, with the choke points, it's just really kind of off. But this was actually so cool to spectate. And I mean, Chili, are you relieved that you are now free from this pronunciation heavy kind of set? Because I mean, those names were kind of hard to pronunciate, especially if you're not German.
I mean, maybe temporarily, but I think every time I commentate for Splatoon, there's always a few meme team names. There's a bunch of team names in. I'm fortunately not bilingual. I can only speak English, and even that I struggle to do sometimes. So lots of German team names, French team names, where I'm always having to get context from my lovely EU peers to know how to pronounce things. So I think it's always a bit of an anxiety that's there. But yeah, no, that was extremely fun. It's a shame it was the best of 3, because I could have seen a best of 9 between these two that would be absolutely chaos. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what a wonderful way to close out our commentary over the group stages. And the exciting thing when we come back, Spy, is we'll be moving into the single elim face-offs.
This will be so stressful for the teams to kind of play, because it's either you play good and you move on, or you're absolutely out of this tournament. And I always feel like it's so sad for the teams that are really giving it them all, and they just don't get a second chance. I mean, it is reasoned because we have a lot of teams being applicated for this, but it's still kind of sad to see teams go that actually have huge potential, but they're kind of blocked through that single elimination.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's. You know, the nice thing about having a kind of group stage format before is that is where you get your kind of second chance. You know, if you're upset against a team, perform extremely well against the other two, you've still got a very reasonable chance of advancing. But the consequence of going group stages into this is like you say, this is going to be a tournament point for everybody in every set they're in from this point forward. So you are going to need to be consistent as hell, playing at your best every step of the way. So it's going to be exciting to see. There's going to be quite a bit of pressure on teams, but I'm sure a lot of back and forth action as well. And as we've seen time and time again, teams that compete at the highest level of play don't get easily phased, can shrug off an upset and come back without being tilted. So it'll be really interesting to see how it goes. I can see EB in chat as well. Hi EB, that was incredible slaying. Hi, absolutely incredible slaying. Really, really well done. We're going to be taking a very small break. We need to just look at seeding, etc. for the single elim. and we will then be coming back and getting straight into the action. So do stay with us, folks. Thank you for joining us so far. And me and Spy will see you really soon.
Yep, see ya.
Champions is going to be,
and that is game.
And that is lead.
Is the tournament.
Oh my god!
That's game. That was the anchor.
Splatoon Stronghold, a stronghold for competitive Splatoon, providing resources to long-timers and newcomers alike. If you're new to the competitive scene or still figuring out how to join, we have a Getting Started guide and plenty of other resources to help you in your journey. If you are a seasoned veteran, we still have plenty to offer. You can find and join tournaments as well as participate in our Captain Forum and find free agents and teams. Our mission is to make competitive Splatoon easily accessible to everyone. So what are you waiting for? Join the Splatoon Stronghold today!